I think for so long, the goal was to get that number lower. If you were on that borderline, whether it be through drugs or diet, exercise, what's the danger of trying to drive that too low or get into that mentality where you want that number as low as you can possibly get it when we're talking about
Yeah,
cholesterol?
a couple angles on this. First of all, what you eat actually has very little intake, very little effect on your cholesterol levels, in the sense that you produce it on your own. It's something that we naturally produce, and so when your level of intake's high, your body's natural intakes or level of production goes down. When your intake is really low, your body actually drives up cholesterol. And so you could have very little saturated fat, very little cholesterol in your diet, and actually have high cholesterol in 220s, 230s, 270s. And it's because you're putting your own body's production in hyperdrive. And it potentially creates an environment where there are going to be more of those small, dense, numerous, the particle number, particle size markers. And so that's becoming a better marker. I think when I get a patient who forwards me over lab results, and it's just your standard lipid profile, there's not much I can do with that, So that's one angle, that your intake really has little to do with that in the first place. When you look at cholesterol levels, one of the most dangerous markers that I can see is something like a cholesterol level over 130 or under 130, 140. And I see this most commonly in two types of patients. One is the eating disorder patient. They're just not eating, they're binging, they're not fueling production of anything. If you look at the uses of cholesterol in the body, it actually has a lot of positive functions. It's a backbone of our cell membranes, so it helps separate different compartments within the body, keep things out where it should keep out, keep things in where it should keep in. Also stability, again, from oxidative damage and so forth, because it adds durability to that membrane. It's also a raw material for most of our hormones, particularly sex hormones, testosterone, estrogen, and cortisol, stress hormones and so forth. And so when you have a low intake or a low level of cholesterol, it means you don't have that pool to pull from when you're stressed, when you need to produce sex hormones and things in your life. And so that's the other side. The eating disorder patients, also your chronic fatigue patients, your adrenal stress, your adrenal exhaustion patients, where they just don't have any raw material left. And that can be dangerous. And in fact, if you look at the mortality rates in individuals with cholesterol 130 and lower, they're pretty high. It's one of the worst markers I would see in my practice. I mean, I don't see it too often, because I'm not necessarily seeing people that are at that stage, but it's definitely a concern. It's one of the worst markers you can see is a cholesterol under, say, something like 130.